So, because these native areas are such an important part of the landscape out here, my famous line is, you wouldn't believe the trouble we go to make it look like we do nothing, right?
Right.
It's like, like you said earlier, this doesn't just happen. This is an intensely managed landscape, whether it's the planting in the fescue or the management of the area, especially when you have these open voids here, right, Mike? I know over the years, let's start with the quackgrass problem, because a lot of guys in the Northeast have quackgrass problems. Talk a little bit about, I think you worked with Andy Senesac, right, from Cooperative Extension out in Suffolk County. Yeah. How did you approach dealing with quackgrass, which would be a really difficult weed if it spread it out into these areas?
Well, it still is a difficult weed, and it's almost unmanageable because of the deep tiller it has, and how even when you get rid of it, it seems to come back almost in a Bermuda grass type. You can see on that slope, the quackgrass.
That's quackgrass right up there.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I mean, in here.
So this, you're seeing it invade in here now too.
Yeah. Basically, from the years of you think just putting a pre-emergent out, you're taking care of everything. Oh, I'm not going to get any weeds. Then you find out what weeds you didn't
escapes
cover.
The pre-emergent.
Right.
So what has been the strategy? As I recall, you were doing spot, Roundup, and then hydroseeding over the top.
Right. And it can still come back. I mean, even on 17, we dozed out a good 6-inch layer of that fescue from tee to fairway.
Where the quackgrass would have been.
Right. And, hydroseeded it. It's been pretty clean, but you can still see it coming back in the voids. It
does.
Right. So, but to your point, getting more specific with backpack spraying and just targeting with certain chemicals these weeds instead of trying to kill all the weeds at once.
That's right.
Putting everything in the tank.
And also following up, did hydroseeding change the game for you in seeding these native areas? You seem to like doing it.
Yeah. Whenever you have a big area like that you want to get rid of, instead of sodding, the hydroseed it comes in better, not as thick, and you have pre-emergent in there, so it'll help keep some of the weeds out. And it just, over time, it's a better stand than sodding. Sod goes downhill, the seed kind of gets better.
So even when you get it thick, and you can see down in some areas it's thick, and other areas it's thick, you still get nutsedge, and we get yellow nutsedge up here. Yeah. And we've been talking to more and more people that are saying, it's like goosegrass, I can't get it under control, and it's got some of the same problems, right? Because nutsedge has an above ground part, and then the nutlets below, that if you don't apply a chemical that translocates to those nutlets, it just keeps coming back year after year. What have you done? Have you been successful? And obviously Sedgehammer is a labeled product for use. Has that been the sole reliance, or have you taken the spot treating approach like you have with glyphosate?
Yeah, we've added Basagran is helpful too.
Okay.
It's all about timing. We've kind of moved. We've used Father's Day as the kind of the base of you got to get it out then. But now we've kind of moved even earlier in the year. Probably due to climate change, it seems to come on earlier.
Yep.
So, again, you start to kind of know where you're gonna get it too.
Okay.
You have years where this bunker gets nutsedge. So
you don't have to blanket the place.
Right. You can go more, site specific, like you said, and just target and just have the nutsedge chemical, just spray the nutsedge.
And you're right. And this is what the weed scientists are telling us, that it's 2 to 3 years of regular applications, even at the right time. And they also are saying go earlier than we used to say. We used to say go around Father's Day because it's the day length would trigger material moving to the nutlets, right? When you get that, when you get that summer, the first day of summer, long day, you get that translocation to kill some of the nutlets. But I think you're right. It must be happening earlier. Are you able to get them cleaned up after a few years, or are they still eluding it? Because we've only really got 1 and a little bit of 2 chemistries to do it.
Yeah, no, I think we've cleaned up a lot of it, and you'll see it. I mean, the sedge likes the wet soils, so you'll see it in those areas, and they kind of come back even after you spray. It'll come back, but no, we've been pretty successful, and like, you know, with the quackgrass and Andy Senesac, he's targeted growing degree days of when it's good to
Kill it.
spray it, because other times of the year you kind of spray it and nothing happens.
No kidding.
And even when we've done some, not Roundup, but all clear, because we can't spray Roundup, it's come back. Just because it's in the soil. Unless you take all that soil out.
Even when you did take the soil out, it still manages to
still
get back in
manages
there.
to come back.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that was that.